Good afternoon. How is everybody? Yay. Everybody's awake? Ready to go for the next 6 hours? Just kidding. Just kidding. My name is Jamie Castillo. I'm with Park Rug Company. I'm the co-chair of the PMEXPO. Welcome. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you participating in the 2015 Expo. It's going to be a great year. We had a stellar year last year. How many of you were here last year? Okay, so this is going to be new for some people. A refresher for others. How many remember the Sports and Learning Complex? Okay, great. So we actually changed venues, for those of you that don't know. We moved venues from the PG Sports and Learning Complex over to the DC Convention Center. We stepped things up quite a bit, not a notch, way up. It's completely the best show on the East Coast. It's the best one-day show on the East Coast, and you are privileged enough to be involved in it. Luckily, I get to help out with my friend here. We are sidekicks. She's going to talk in just a little bit. I've been on this committee for 12 years. This will be my 10th year chairing it. And like I said, this is one of the best committees. This is one of the best events that you'll ever participate in business-wise. You'll make friends, but you'll also make clients, and that's what's important. So we're all here to gain revenue, learn a little bit, and we appreciate you all being here today. Again, my name is Jamie. If you have any questions afterward, if you want to know anything, just always see me. You can come find me. Most people can hear me from down the hall. So again, thank you for being here.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Zakia Kanu. I'm also co-chairing the Expo this year. And I just wanted to thank you all for coming out this afternoon to come to our exhibitor training for you and get an opportunity to see the convention center, find out a little bit more about Expo and all the great things that you're going to experience at Expo. We wanted to tell you there are some sponsorships that are still available. We have one key executive sponsorship that is available. We still have 4 opportunities to do the tote bag. This is the wonderful tote bag. You get, yeah.
I'll be Vanna.
She'll be Vanna for you. A wonderful tote bag. If you want to get your company's name on it, this is a great opportunity. Every person that walks through the doors gets one of the tote bags. This is a great opportunity throughout the year. They can carry the tote bag, have your company's name on it. Last year we had 1,100 people come through the doors, so that's a great opportunity for you. The seminars, we have 2 opportunities for sponsorships still available for the seminars.
Also, with the tote bag, you can put any of your print material. So and if you sponsor the tote bag, we will stuff the committee. We will put your print material or anything that you want to put, like a little, within reason, the little tchotchke thing or any of your print material will go in the bag as well. So if they don't make it around your booth, everybody will leave with your information. So FYI.
Yes.
Excuse me.
No, it's fine. Cup sponsors. We have 1 cup sponsor left. The cup sponsor will be at the bars. We have the bars and at the food stations.
Most popular spots.
The bar, we have 3 bar sponsors left. So the bars will be spread throughout the expo. The aisle sponsors, we have 6 of those left. You get aisle sponsors above the aisles and on the floors. 3 spots throughout the aisle will have your company's logo on the floor. So they'll see your company's logo 3 places on the floor and above in that aisle for the aisle sponsor. 1 sponsor left for trash and recycling, and 1 sponsor left for napkins. So we do have those sponsorships left for anyone. Please come see us if you're interested in doing the sponsorships. This is a wonderful day. It's a great day. This is any company that exhibits at Expo. It is a phenomenal day for you to exhibit, showcase your business, get new business, connect with your current customers, and get an opportunity to meet new customers. So enjoy the day. Do the best that you can for your business. We really appreciate you coming out today, and have a great time at Expo. We're going to turn it over to Tom Cohn, who's going to talk to you about improve your Expo exhibit effectiveness. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tom Cohn. I'm the Executive Vice President of the Property Management Association, and I've been involved with PMEXPO since 1979. We've produced a lot of the shows over the years. I want to thank our co-chairs for doing such a fantastic job in directing the committee and providing strategic guidance for staff to make Expo the most important event of the year for the regional property management industry. We have one goal today, and this is to get better returns on your PMEXPO investment. And we're going to start with an exercise. I want you to write down the best reason, the number one reason someone should come visit you at your booth. The number one reason why someone should show up at your booth. Take a minute. Okay, we ready? Who would like to share? Who would like to share? Go ahead. Stand up, stand up.
For the Department Showcase, we'd like to show off our new website and demonstrate how we can save customers money.
That's the reason. Save customers money, right? Who else? Who has another one? Go ahead.
We'd like to help people take advantage of utility programs to save them energy and money.
Another one, save money. Okay, anyone else? Go ahead, Lyle.
We'd like to have a way for residents to have better technology to pay their rent.
Better technology to pay rent, so to make the life of the property manager easier by making it easier for residents to pay rent. Okay. How many of you didn't write anything down at all? I know some of you didn't, and you're not alone. So don't be shy, it's okay. That's why we're here today, because it's a very difficult, easy question to ask and very difficult question to answer is basically, why should someone buy from you? What do you offer that makes you different from someone else or makes it easier? But I like this one. This is for most of you and most of people at Expo, this rings true. 80% of success is showing up. That's Woody Allen's quote. And 80% of people at Expo are successful simply because they show up. They show up, people come, they find out about them, something resonates with them, they look for new products, new providers, new solutions to problems, whatever it would be. But imagine how successful you could be is if you did a little more than just showing up or providing reasons for people to come. I've been to a lot of meetings, I've run a lot of expos, and over the years, a lot of people say, you know, we're just there to be seen. We're there to support the industry, we're there to support the association, and I think that's great. I think it's wonderful, it's great for PMA, but it's doing a disservice to you and your company. Our goal is to help you leave with a lot of qualified leads. So let's go through a couple of the details, okay, of what's going to happen. And so you know, we're going to look at our goals here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how to exhibit, how to train your booth staff to exhibit, and a little bit of how to market your participation before, during, and after PMEXPO. So here is our details that we have is, if you didn't know, PMEXPO is being held on tax day, April 15th. That's the only taxing thing we can say about it. It's going to be right here. We're 9 to 4. It features a keynote address by Daniel Pink, and I'll talk a little bit about him and what he's going to talk about, and 5 different seminars designed to draw property managers to the convention center to see your exhibits. There are 2 roles that take place. Our role from the PMA staff is to bring people to the convention center. Your role is to provide reasons for them to visit your booth. Very simple. We'll get them there. Once they're there, you have to provide reasons for them to come visit you. Okay? And this is our vision, and this is what we started out with. We wanted to partner with you to provide such compelling content that PMEXPO is a must-attend event. So we're going to talk a little bit about if you have something of interest, something that will draw someone to your booth, we will help you promote it, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. Part of the vision for PMEXPO was to, and the reason we moved to the DC Convention Center was to offer the local property management community all the benefits of a national convention without having to take the time and bear the expense of travel, airfare, hotel, and high registration fees. So we started last year on that journey. We learned a lot, and we're going to build on it this year. And part of offering a national convention experience is to have a nationally known speaker. And I think we have one this year in Daniel Pink. How many people know who Daniel Pink is? A couple, okay. Daniel Pink started his career writing speeches for Al Gore, so don't hold that against him, okay? He wrote them, he had nothing to do with delivery. So, but he's one of these guys who would be considered a preeminent thought leader. He's written 3 books. One is on motivation, how the right brain and left brain works and what motivates people. He taught his last book, and the reason why we have hired him is he wrote a book called To Sell is Human, The Surprising Truth About Moving Others. And the premise of that book is no matter what you do, everyone is in sales. Whether you're the CEO of a property management company, whether you're a leasing consultant, whether you're a regional manager, whether you're a staff accountant, you're involved in sales. And he classifies sales as 2 types. One is sales, which is what most of you probably do, is you go out and you try and convince others to buy what you have to offer. Or there's non-sales selling, and that is the art of persuasion. So anyone here who is in a relationship with another human being is constantly selling. We all know that. We're trying to persuade our kids to do the right things, our partner or our spouse, not to get angry at us when we don't do the right things. Well, that's personal, but you know how it works. So, and the art of non-selling is persuasion. So he's going to go through, he has 3 keys to selling and non-selling. And he's going to go through those and explain how everyone can improve their ability to persuade someone else to do what they want. And it's a pretty powerful speech. If you YouTube him, and you can, he's a great speaker. And he really communicates a great message. The other educational content that you just should be aware of, we have the Apartment All-Stars. These people speak at national conventions all the time. They're big-name people that the property management community knows. We have Lisa Trozine, Alexander Jiwa, and trainer Don Sanders coming in. They're going to talk about, marketing in a market that has absorbed 40,000 new units in the last 24 months. So there's a lot of competitiveness out there. You guys know it. You visit properties all the time. There's all sorts of concessions going on, and money's getting tight, and performance standards are getting higher for each community, so they're going to address that. And then our Operations Council is going to do 2 sessions, one on regulatory compliance, the other is on mastering the apartment turnover. So that's pretty much what the educational program is going to be like. So let's get on with how we can get more people to Expo and how we can improve your returns. So what we do is we have a list of about 5,000 property management professionals. This has been gleaned from people who come to Expo, PMA's memberships list, AOBA, NVAA, IRM, CAI, you name it, we have the list. So we're going to get a lot of people in the door, and we're going to communicate reasons why they should attend. And, I'm going to go through a lot of the new rules of marketing, and that's it. But the most important thing for you to understand is, why do people come? Why do people come to Expo? Well, here are the reasons. 1, they save time, right? You can see 40, 50, 100 different companies in an 8-hour period. That saves a property manager a lot of time. Obviously, when people talked about, the 2 people or 3 people talked about why they should come, well, here's an opportunity to save money. And here are the other reasons, and we have gotten this through our surveys of property managers, why they tend. The last one, new technology, new products, even new ways of doing the same old thing. That's a key draw to your booth. If you have something that is new, different, innovative, technologically superior. That's what people want to see. You will be attractive for them. So again, when you start plotting your strategy, like what you should put in your booth, who you should put in your booth, if you have something new, that's great. In your exhibitor kit, there's a form saying, do you have anything new? If you tell us, we will promote it as part of our ongoing e-blast, direct mail campaign, newsletter, e-letter, and so on, okay? So, what can you do and how can you improve your return on the investment? Well, if you look at it, people come to a trade show are really a focus group of buyers. So you can see new applications, how they make your lives easier, look for value, look for successful practices, and so on. So there's another reason to attend. In fact, we have 10,000 good reasons to attend. That's called the Passport to Prizes. Okay. This is everyone who enters PMEXPO, they receive a passport. And they have to have their passport stamped, instead of by different countries, by different exhibitors in each aisle. And I think it's limited to 3 or 4 in each aisle. And at the end of the day, we draw prizes. We draw prizes for a large screen TV, for a new iPhone, for a new iPad, for some of Daniel Pink's autographed books, for spa outings, for a couple tickets to the PMA Holiday Ball, and this, a little check for $10,000. So one of the keys to the Passport to Prizes program is you have to be present to win. So last year when we drew the prize at 4:45, we had about 500 people sitting around. 500 people sitting around. About half of the PMEXPO attendance was still there at the last minute. Why? They wanted to win the money. We all want to win the money. We drew 15 prizes last year. We didn't have to do a second drawing for any of them. Everyone was there. So, Gia, how many Passport to Prizes opportunities are left?
I think we have about 6.
6 left.
And you contact me if you're interested in getting them today. I'll take care of them.
The beautiful thing about Passport to Prizes, it forces everyone who wants to win the money to come to your booth. Anyone do it last year here? Okay. Felicia, what was it like? Stand up, tell people. Was it worth it?
Absolutely. We had a continuous line of people waiting to talk to us. It was invaluable. There's a session for $750. You can't get a better value than that. You have a guaranteed group of people having to come to your booth.
We also differentiate the Passport to Prizes booths by providing different curtain colors for them so people can automatically recognize where they are. So again, it helps you to stand out. It's definitely a program that's worth it. Go ahead.
Yeah, we did it last year as well, and even towards the end where a lot of people are trying to leave or pack up, we got a really great rush at the end. People running around trying to get the last parts of the passport, so it's definitely worth it.
So it's one of the great programs that we developed that is win-win-win, right? It wins for PMA and PMEXPO and all the exhibitors because people want to win the money, so they come and they stay. It's good for exhibitors, obviously, because it forces people to go visit your booth, so that's a good reason to come. You need a reason to come to your booth? We can help you win the money. And then it's good for the overall event. So, what makes a trade show booth effective? Okay? There are a few things, and this is from an exhibit survey study. There's trade groups, like PMA is a trade association for property managers. Well, there's trade associations for trade shows, and exhibit surveys is one of those entities that services the exhibit industry and trade show industry. So the most important thing that makes a booth memorable is size, okay? At PMEXPO, size does not matter. I know some people have said that before, but size really doesn't matter because we have 260 booths and about 97% of them are 10 by 10. So everyone is basically the same size. So you don't have to really worry about that. The next thing, obviously, this is not rocket science. They have to be interested in the products and services. And not everyone who comes to PMEXPO is going to be interested in what you have to offer. If you have a commercial property manager who's not going to be very interested in the services of a swimming pool contractor. And a garden property manager probably doesn't want to talk to anyone about elevators because they don't have them. So, but again, what interest in the product and services that you have. Overall, the attendance is very strong and very focused. We don't let the public in just because they want to take a look and see what kind of tchotchkes they can grab. We don't let your competitors in who don't have a booth. If you are eligible to exhibit at PMEXPO and elect not to, you cannot attend. We politely escort a few people out every year who try and violate that rule. Even if they're PMA members or members of the sponsoring organizations, we don't let them in because we don't believe it is fair to you for you to foot the bill so they could take advantage of all the networking events of being around 1,100 property managers. And that's why we do it. It's to provide greater value for you. The next one is to have an active demonstration. If you can physically show what you do, it's a lot easier than telling. Video is a great way to show what you do on either a laptop or a projector in your booth. It's not that hard. So again, this is what makes a booth memorable, that people can actually say, well, we pave parking lots. Okay, great. So does everyone else, right? So can you show what you do? Can you show how you do it faster, better, more cost effectively, less inconvenience, whatever your distinctive competency is? If you can demonstrate it, you're going to be a lot more effective. Now, those people who kill pests and roaches and things like that, I don't know if you really want to demonstrate that on site, but we did have people who used to have cockroach races, which actually did draw a lot of attention. I don't know if they took wagers on who would win, but I think there were prizes for picking the right one. Okay? We'll go through these quickly. Exhibit, color, and design. If you have something that stands out, obviously you make a greater impression. This is an important one. A source of information. You are an incredible resource to the property management industry. Incredible. So if your industry is involved with regulatory compliance or anything to do with the government or anything that someone has to do in order to make it through their week, their month, their year, if any of the regulations, the rules have changed and you can provide that source of information, do it. And you don't have to do it then. You can, take a card and email it to them the next day. In fact, I'm not a big proponent of handing things out at Expo because if you see the bags and the buckets filled with stuff, you tend to get lost. It has a lot more impact if it arrives FedEx the next day on someone's desk or by courier or some other means that makes you stand out. But if you're going through 250 booths and let's say someone gets stuff from 100 of them, how are you going to stand out? But if you can be a source of information, that's great. The next is obviously your booth personnel, and this has a couple things that should resonate with you. One, the people in your booth. I know this should sound somewhat apparent, but they should know what they're talking about. Some people use models or celebrities like athletes and things like that. Be careful with those. People tend to remember the athlete, not the booth. So if you're going to bring in a celebrity of some sort, please sit down with him or her and explain to them what you do so they can explain to the people what they do. Having, a member of the Redskins on there, that's great, may draw some fans, but, how does that relate to what you do? Okay? And finally, name recognition. I don't want to break it to you, but we don't have a lot of brand names in the industry. It's not like Nike or something like that people know it right away. So that's not a factor. And if you go through really how this breaks down according to the exhibit survey, interest is number one, 39%, active demonstration, design, color, booth personnel, source of information, name recognition. So there's how it breaks down. Obviously, the interest is number one. So when you start your goal-setting opportunity, we're going to look at it. A few years ago, the PMEXPO committee said, we really want to focus on how we create value for property managers and have that resonate with the attendees. Okay. Expo effectiveness, we're going to talk about how you create an image, what you can do before, during, and after. And I don't know if any of you watch Politically Incorrect, but Bill Maher every week has new rules. Well, I have new rules for PMEXPO and Bill Maher tradition. And rule number one is set goals, okay? If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a definition of success, how can you tell if PMEXPO was successful? Why are you there? What do you want to accomplish? What is the metric you're going to use to measure success? And this is a lot easier said than done with other things. So I'm going to throw up on the screen a few ideas of goals of why you want to be there or why people exhibit at trade shows. And if you look at it, they're up there. You can just be there to be seen by a lot of your customers, see what your competition does. You may want to use it as a chance to introduce something new. You may want to use it to test market something you're considering to see what kind of reaction you're going to get. I mean, one of the great things I read about a really, really effective thing was, a button they would wear in the booth. Every booth staff member wore a button that said, "Ask me about." A, B, C, C, D, X, Q, R, Y. Whatever it is, ask me about, right? Big button right there. Janice and the good folks at Millennium Marketing Solutions can make them for you. So they can make them quick and probably very cost effectively. But people will ask. It works. It's very simple. But have a reason to be there. Several years ago, Brook Furniture Rental introduced a new marketing campaign, and they set as a goal that we want to leave Expo with at least 10 new management companies that buy into our new marketing plan. That's our goal. I think they left with more than 20, so they more than doubled what it was. But when you have a goal like that, then you can focus on what you're going to do at Expo and work towards that goal instead of just trying to throw spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks. So rule number one, have a goal. Okay? New rules. Rule number two, nobody cares about you. Right? Your customers really only care about themselves. It's not that they're callous or mean or self-centered, but some are, right? Is they look through their lens. You have to look through their lens. So what is it that they have to accomplish? What causes them pain? And how can you be the aspirin for their pain? Okay? Okay? And this is true. Nobody cares unless you're dying or you're pretty, right? So no one cares about you. And the real lesson here is look through the lens of your customer, right? What is it do they want to see? What is it they need to see? I think I'm getting some smiles here. I like that too, right? But it's true. Too many people market based on what's good for them, what's good for their company. No one cares about your company. Your customers don't care about your customer. They care about what's good for them. And if you can appeal to what's good for your customer, then that's good for you, okay? And where can you find this out? Just ask. Simply ask. What's the biggest headache you have? Go to the PMA February 19th meeting. Great speaker, Rob Beskin, is talking about what truly motivates people, okay? Go to that and say, ask some of your property managers when you're out on sales calls or when your team is out on sales calls, what is the biggest headache you have every day that it relates to our product or our service? If you could change anything about what you do, what would it be? Who provides, the landscaping service to? If they could do something a lot better, what would you like to see them do? Whatever it is, it's simple. Just ask. They'll tell you. People will tell you what causes them pain. Just talk to old people sometime, right? They tell you what causes them pain every day, whether you want to hear it or not. But it's the same with everyone, and it has to do with marketing, okay? So again, This is one of my favorite quotes of all time. It comes from Charlie Revson. He was the CEO of Revlon Cosmetics. He said, in the factory, we manufacture cosmetics. In the store, we sell hope. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about how you sell the hope, but we have to get to rule number 3. Okay? Rule number 3 is this: tell the truth. Okay. Again, this may seem obvious, but let's go through some things, right? Your call is important to us. How many people have called anyone and said, this call may be monitored for quality assurance. Your call is important to us, but your wait time is 25 minutes, right? No, your call is not important to us. You're not important to us. We're too cheap to hire enough people, right, to answer your call. So, but we say things like this, we hear things like that. That's not the truth. Your call isn't important to you. And the lesson, I'll go through a couple of these when we get to the end. The lesson here is watch what you say, because people can spot a phony a mile away. Here's another one. Don't you like this? This is lose 20 pounds in a week. Right. That's not the truth. I love this one. No. My husband's a former oil minister. We want to give you $20 million. Just let me have your bank account number. We've all gotten those emails. Okay. But here's what people do say. Our service is the best. Even if it is, no one believes it. Right? So if you're going to say something like that, instead of say our service is the best, this is what we do differently than anyone else that's to your advantage. Okay? Again, if you look at these, people say this all the time. It is not the truth. No one believes it. I mean, when you get on the phone and say that your call is important to us, you know it isn't. That's why you're on hold hell for 25 minutes. It seems like 2 hours and 25 minutes, right? So again, when you are talking at Expo, when you are marketing at Expo, when you're doing your spiels and so forth, make sure you tell the truth. And your truth is really what your customer believes it to be. And you have to explain it in a manner that makes the most sense. So let's go through some goal-setting techniques, okay? You don't provide products and services. What you do is perform a job. Whatever it is, I don't care what you sell. I don't care what it is. You perform a job, okay? So you may sell carpeting, right? That's not what job that Jamie does for her customers. Jamie makes sure they can turn over apartments faster and improve the NOI of an apartment community. That's what Jamie sells, right? Jamie sells the ability to lower your maintenance costs and have less hassle so you don't have to worry about someone screaming about carpet coming up or what have you. That's the job she does. She doesn't sell carpet. That's a byproduct of what she does. That's not the why, that's the how, that's the what. So look at it as, what job do you do for your customer? Okay? And this isn't just for Expo, this is for just going out there and trying to be successful every day, right? And this is the reason, is people don't buy what you offer. They're looking to purchase solutions to their problems, okay? So again, what job do you do? What problems do you solve? What headaches can you relieve? Okay. What pain can you cure? Okay. In order to sell the hope, there's a few things that you have to do. Who are you? Right? What is your position in the market? Okay. What do you want to promote and why? What will resonate with your customers? And don't sit around with a group of you guys in your own company saying, figuring out what it is, because you're only looking through your lens. Talk to your customers. How do they perceive you? What value do they bring? What pain do you cause to go away? Okay? What's your compelling story? Okay? So here are a few things that you may want to emphasize that we found out over the years, right? And these slides will be available to everyone if you just leave your card with Alan or Gia, and we'll just email them to you afterwards, okay? So you just can have them. But here, these are some of the jobs that you perform for property managers, right? Next, know thy prospects. Who's going to come? Who is likely to attend? Well, we're going to tell you that we get everyone from maintenance technicians right up to the CEOs of property management companies. They all have different responsibilities. They all have different frustrations. They all have different problems they're trying to solve. But it is when you out there talking to them what causes them pain, ask them what they'd like to see if they come to Expo, right? What do they want to see? What would make their lives easier? What do they need to see? What do they expect to see? And remember, Steve Jobs used to say, customers really don't know what they want until we give it to them. Sometimes that is true as well, right? Okay. Let's talk a little bit about making yourself aware of your PMEXPO booth before the show starts. And here's a few opportunities for you. We send out a series of postcards to about 5,000 people. We have a series of about 20 e-blasts that we send out to the same 5,000 people. Like I said, in your exhibitor kit, if you have something that is of interest to your customer, not necessarily of interest to you, we will promote it for you to our list. And when it comes from you, it's an advertisement. When it comes from us, it's a piece of information. We have much more credibility than you do because we're really not trying to sell people. We're doing non-selling selling, right? We're trying to persuade people to go to PMEXPO. That's our goal, okay? So Up to the Minute is our weekly e-letter. We will promote it in that. We will promote it on our website. We post to our Facebook and LinkedIn pages every single day. We have a monthly newsletter, bulletin. We do direct mail and so on. So what message do you want to communicate? I'm going to give you a few different techniques that you can possibly explore, and this is typical of just content writing. One is benefit-oriented messages. It explains what's the benefit of using whatever you have to sell, okay? So again, you can just go for it. This is Nike does this. Obviously, this is an image of if you work out and wear Nike apparel and shoes, you will be a better human being. There's this understanding of parallel images. You compare yourself to something else. Allstate does it with Good Hands. Prudential does it with a piece of the rock. You know what we're saying. Integrating existing imagery. This is the Ever-Ready Bunny. So the Ever-Ready Bunny is the image of the company. And then there's positive association. And no one does this better than MasterCard and their priceless commercials. So if you use your MasterCard, it's a priceless situation. Okay? So these are beforehand, whether you do email, whether you do direct mail, whether you do e-blasts, whether you do e-letters, whether you do it through us. Figure out what message, what type of message you want to communicate and would resonate best with your customers, okay? At PMEXPO, okay? We have a PMEXPO website. You can Twitter. You can make your booth stand out in some way, some shape or form. So again, there are different things. You can be a sponsor of Expo. You can be an aisle sponsor, a bag sponsor. There are ways to make yourself stand out. You can participate in the passport of prizes. We can write you up in the program if you have something interesting. We have a booth awards competition that recognizes outstanding exhibit effectiveness. So whatever it is that you want to do, figure out what's going to make your booth stand out at Expo. And the last thing I really want to get into is the people who staff your booth. You would be surprised at how many people who show up have no clue of why they're there. They're just say, someone has to go down to Expo and staff our booth. We got busy. They show up, they don't know what they're doing. I want to give you a few images that I took, few pictures I took from the Kitchen and Bath Industry Show. Kitchen and Bath Industry Show is now aligned with the International Builders Show. It used to be, before the housing crisis, in the top 10 shows in North America. This person's very interested in what he's doing at his booth, okay? I mean, would you want to go visit that booth? Here's another one. Well, I think they're having lunch. That's nice, okay? This person's really interested too. That booth cost him $30,000. What kind of ROI are they going to get on $30,000? He'd rather be anywhere than there, right? We'll go on for one more. Again, it's people who are disinterested. Here, they're having a meeting. You know, what if someone actually wanted to find out what was going on? No. Trade shows are hard. They're physically and mentally draining, okay? So when you're figuring out who's going to be at your booth, one, obviously they should know something about your product or service. They should know something about the audience. They should know what was ordered ahead of time from our good decorating contractor, okay, who will be speaking a little bit later. They should know about freight policies. They should know all the things and all the information that we sent you that most companies elect to ignore with impunity. We understand that. We will still be nice when you get there and still don't know what is going on, but we will try our best to make everything run smoothly as possible, okay? So when you're talking about your booth, right, you got to have the number of people. 1 person is too few, 10 is too many. Okay? You should have at least 2, because someone's going to have to go to the restroom, someone's going to want to eat something, someone's going to just want to walk around, so you don't want to leave your booth empty. Okay, there is a fatigue factor, okay? I would suggest you do some role playing with your booth staff. Ask your customers what they expect to see, want to see, need to see, what causes them pain, and then go through it before you get to Expo, right? With the people who are going to be there, so you rehearse it a little bit. You don't want to make a canned presentation, but you don't want to be caught off guard either. And if you get busy and there are a bunch of people there, you don't want to ignore someone, you can say, excuse me, walk up to someone, can I have your cell phone so I can text you when I'm free? Very easy, very simple. And imagine the text, oh, I got a text, I can go back now. It's different, okay? Or tweet you or whatever you want to do. So again, and remember to tell the truth. And so while you're there beforehand, you should train your people on what they should expect and what the goal is. Remember, we were going to establish goal, why we're there, with the metric. Okay? So they're focused on that goal. So if you're going to push 1 or 2 things, which I highly recommend doing, because you're going to get your best return there, have the metric, make the people in the booth know what that metric is. Otherwise, they're going to be lost. So after the show, what do? We have scanners. You can scan badges. You'll go to a website. You'll download everyone who visited your booth if you take advantage of that. But here's something that should surprise you. 80% of trade show leads are never followed up. You know, what have you done for me lately? Why were you there? Okay? So, here to help train your staff, right? It's an effective use of time. You get to see a lot of people. Just like the property managers come, you can see a lot of their suppliers in one day. You get to see a lot of your customers in one day. You can accomplish a lot in a few hours, okay? 90% of people who go to the trade show have never been seen by the exhibitor within a year. How many of you have an easy time getting in property management companies? Even existing customers. How many? Raise your hand. They're just waiting for you to show up, right? What do you got to sell me? Where's my purchase order? Right? You got one for me? No. It's difficult. You know, they only have you. They have 400 other people who want to see them every single day, trying to tell them why they should buy from them instead of from you, right? So this is a win-win on time, right? 50% of trade show leads close with no follow-up sales calls. That's amazing. That's also from the Trade Show Bureau. Okay? Trade shows are different than when you go in to make a pitch, right? You go in, you have a prepared situation, you have a prepared script in your head or even written out, right? Well, you don't have that at a trade show. You have about 30 seconds to get someone's attention. So you got to watch out for information overload, okay? Whatever you say, there's good likely there's a competitor around the corner that can either affirm or rebut what you have had to say, so telling the truth is essential and knowing your facts is essential. And the final thing I would like to say is watch the fatigue factor. This is difficult. We'll talk a little bit about it, but again, it's shoes, wear comfortable shoes because you're going to be on your feet for 7, 8, 9 hours in the day, okay? Again, this is not something new. You tell instead of sell, okay? Remember the 80-20 rule on this. Small steps with what you're doing, really focus. That's why having goals is important. Don't ignore what the visitor wants, okay? It's all about them. Remember, they don't care about you. Don't spend too much time with anyone because there's too many people coming by, and obviously don't fail to close. And have a definition of closing. Closing may be to follow up. Closing may be to send them something. Closing may be to meet them afterwards for a drink around the corner. Have a definition of closing. What is it you're going to close on? Okay. Also, develop lead forms that work. Okay. Whether you do it on your tablet, in an Evernote or another note app or whatever, but have some sort of lead form. And again, you're going to get a lot of people in your booth who do not have purchasing authority, but they have influence over purchasing authority, or they know who does purchase, or they know who they're buying from, whatever you're selling. So you can make notes and get a lot of great market information. And I'm going to leave you now with these 10 ideas for exhibiting. One is, we went over it, have at least 2 people staffing the booth at all times, right? You never want to be standing there alone because chances are there's going to be more than one person coming by at a time. And 2, if you have to leave for a brief period of time, there's nothing worse than seeing an empty booth. Okay? This may seem obvious, but you would be surprised how many people eat in their booth. Who wants to walk in and see you, when you're chomping on a hot dog? Not a very attractive image. Okay. Signed copy. Okay. It shouldn't have more than 15 or 16 words, most, and all the words should be at eye level. No one's going to look down at their feet to read your sign. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money, right? So limit what's on there. Don't create obstacles or barriers. People will put a table, an 8-foot table, 6-foot drape table, right in front of their booth. You know what that says? Stop, don't come in. It's an automatic barrier to people entering. So if you need to put stuff on a table, put it on the side, put it in back. Okay? Don't put it in front because it creates a psychological barrier that says to someone, stop, caution. There's a barrier here. We're on this side, you're on that side, right? We went over that one? Okay. Don't judge books by their covers. Painting contractor, a friend of mine once told me the most successful contract he ever got out of Expo, it was a high 6-figure, almost bordering on a 7-figure contract. Guy came in overalls, looked like he needed to take a shower. He just didn't look any nice. Most people ignored him, but he was responsible for all operations for a very large apartment community. He was coming from a job that, there was a problem. So don't judge your books by their covers. 80% of leads don't get followed up. Don't forget to follow up after PMEXPO. And the last one, don't forget to sell the hope. So we will be around to help you in whatever way we can to get people to come to your booth, to promote your offerings, to give people reasons why they should come to Expo. Take advantage of it. We like that when we're taken advantage of. And we want to have everyone a successful show because we want to see you all back year in and year out at the most important day of the year for the property management community. I thank you for your time and your attention, and I hope some of the things we conveyed will make your booths and exhibits more effective come April 15th. And if anyone has any questions, I'll take them now. Otherwise, we'll call Cindy from Grady up to, yes, go ahead.
Do you have limitations on food, like inside the booth?
Yeah, there's a catering license here at the convention center. So any food you give out has to be purchased through the convention center. And I'm not talking about, like a bowl of candy or something like that. But if you want to cater something or even give out popcorn, it has to go through the catering 'cause it's
Bottled water, like labeled bottled water.
labeled water you can give out.
I don't know if you can.
Oh, I don't, yeah, that, again, we'll check with you on anything you want to give out, but it's like that at every convention center across North America. I mean, this place is pretty good. You should, if you ever exhibited a place like the Javits Center, where it costs you about $350 for someone, an electrician, to plug in take your socket and put it in the plug, because you're not allowed to do that. You know, we have the good people from Shepherd, Doug from Shepherd will explain a lot of that because he works here all the time. But check whatever you would want to do, let Gia know, and we'll find out what the obligations are. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Cindy, you ready?
According to a lot of the vendors that I've spoken to over the last year, I'm one of the people that didn't attend last year. I'm the decision maker. My people didn't attend last year. They're the decision makers. So we're there. We may not be broadcasting who we are. My maintenance guys walk around. They have a shopping list. They know their budget's going in. We've already had our meetings. So I send maintenance techs, supervisors, managers, assistant managers, and they all have a shopping list. We're not there, we're there to say hi to our vendors that we currently use, absolutely. They don't necessarily see me all the time, but I'm there to find new people. I'm not locked in, I'm gonna 3-bid everything. That's our company policy, is we have to have 3 bids for everything we do, whether it's gonna cost me $500 or $500,000. So I'm not locked into a vendor. I want new faces, I want new exposure. But good point was, you have to have the right people in your booth. If I'm walking through and you're in a conversation with your team member, I'm not gonna interrupt you to get information about your company. I'm gonna keep moving. I'm not there to get tchotchkes. I'm not part of the bucket brigade, as you all deem it. Is the maintenance there to get stuff? Absolutely, but guess what? Guess who has my ear halfway through the year? When they want a new product, and I tell them to go find it. Go find it, tell me about it. They're going back to their business cards, they're going back to that coffee cup they've been lifting every day, they're going back to the pen, and they're coming to me with that information. I'm gonna call ABC. So that person that doesn't necessarily have the information or the ability to sign and write a check, that person does have the ear of the people who do sign and do write the check. So keep that in your mind when you're doing it. As I said, with my guys, I have a team, I have 10 properties. My guys walk through with this shopping list. We've gone through your budgets. We know what we're spending that year, what our big projects are, whether it's changing, that's how we met the Sheffery family. We were changing our washer-dryer service. So we went through and talked to washer-dryer companies. Thank God we did. I can proudly say that in the last year, I have not used one vendor who is not part of PMA. I get my little PMA book out and I look for the vendors. I'm not gonna go online and Google. I don't have that kind of time. I'm sorry. I have an agenda every day and it changes at a minute. The most important thing, if you wanna get the follow-up, they said most people don't follow up. Ask how you want to reach the person. I don't sit at a desk every day. I have a desk, I have an office. We joke that I go in randomly and dust it off. I'm out in the field. So if you're gonna get me, you're gonna be emailing me. I have a file saved on my computer that has vendors broken down by what their product or industry is. And that's what I go back and refer to. Oh, I met this roofer. Well, I just got a new property, it has flat roofs. Oh crap, do I have a flat roof roofer? Go through my file of who I met at PMA. So that's the easiest way to do that. And don't make me carry 5,000 business cards, please. I have a bad shoulder. I literally want to carry your business card and that's about it. Those scanners, they might cost money to rent, but believe me, they go a long way. I can't tell you how many times we're on Metro or in the past driving, and I have the maintenance guys in the back going, should I have brought business cards? Crap. yes, here's some of mine. So I'm getting double hit. But those scanners, all you have to do is scan their ID. It goes a long way, and it makes life so much easier. Does anybody have any questions for me? Come on up, Mr. Turner.
Having participated in these for a good number of years now and the industry for quite a long time, and Tom had some excellent points that I think I can underscore from my perspective. And one of the things that is really daunting is you think about there's 250 booths that we possibly may have exposure to. And then there's more than 1,000 people you may have exposure to. And the reality of it is we can't spend quality time with each other. Even if we had 3 days, we spend moments with each other. So the question is how to make that the best for each of us. How do we get this great return on investment of each of our visits with each other? And many times walking down the aisles of the expo, I see companies that I've seen for years or that I have relationships with. And I think that I know what they offer, and I think what they can do for me and maybe others. So I may or may not stop. I might stop because I have a relationship there. And then there's vendors that I see that they're selling a garage door. And there's others that sell garage doors, and I'm not picking on anybody in particular. But there's a disconnect there. I kind of know what you do. You kind of know who I am. But we don't really have that way of connecting the quality time. And I think what is going to get me there or one of my coworkers? Is it spinning of a game? Is it somebody jumping up and down? Probably not. It's not really a good use of time. I think it attracts some attention. So this year we've taken a little bit different tact with the people that will attend, and we ironically sent an email out yesterday, and that is to go out on a world of discovery. And to underscore what Tom was saying about problems is we have problems. We absolutely do. We have problems on every different level, and they're headaches to us. And I guess we anticipate in a way that you being in your little niche of the industry, you may know what those problems are and know how to solve them, and maybe you do, and maybe you don't. Sometimes we don't pay enough attention to our problems because we become numb. It's a problem. It's been a problem for years. But we forget there's innovation, there's discovery. So my people are going out now into the field. They're going to go into that show with a list of problems and doing exactly what Tom was talking about. They're going to go find answers. And I want them to come to you and ask you, do you have a way to solve this problem? And you may or may not, but at least you hear what the problem is, and that gives you what? That gives you something to go find an answer to. And that's where you're going to create value. Because all intents and purpose, my company, we don't bid out everything to 3 vendors every time. We don't have that interest. We have a lot of long-standing relationships. So you think about it a little bit like in our own personal worlds. You're really, really happy and you're not looking to see anybody else. Or maybe you're a little unhappy and you're willing to maybe look around a little bit. Or you're single and you're out and you're dating. So we could be in any one of those positions, so to speak. But we have to find a way to bring ourselves together. There's some practical things that I see, and I guess I can say I'm guilty of this. I walk down some of the aisles, and everybody's looking at me. I'm that piece of meat. Now, you're throwing the popcorn in the air, and the seagull's going to come and grab me, and that's really uncomfortable. So I want to be approached, but I don't want to be looked at in that manner. Number 2 is some of the vendors that are well established, been around a long time, know a lot of people, tend to have a lot of people at their booth that they just know. And there's too many people there. So as Cindy said, she's not going to break in and interrupt to try to find space there. So I just be aware of that. I understand the cultivating of relationships, but if your idea is also to get new people, make it a little more approachable, a little more safe for people to come see you. I think what I would term as an unmatchable claim is huge. If you're a big supplier, you can't really tell us or show us anything if you just say, here's my catalog of 20,000 products. but you may have something that you do better than anybody else. And that's what I would be selling to us. I don't know what that is in your company, but that's what I would sell. If you're a plumber, I've heard the speech so many times. We're a family-owned company. We've been around a long time. I work for them. I've never worked for somebody so great. Okay, good for you. I don't want to be blatant, but what is your unmatchable claim? Why can you turn a pipe or do something different than the one that I've been using for quite some time? I don't know. I can't tell you how to do that, but that should be something you need to find and you need to sell and give me really an excuse or a reason to do business. That's important. So there's no doubt that if there's probably very few companies at the trade show that are going to have no competitors. So figure out what you do really, really well, like Tom was saying, and then figure out how to get that message out, because we may not know that. I think the people that are at the booth, I think, should be knowledgeable. I'm not interested in making a contact that you say, well, I don't know, I will have so-and-so call you, because he knows about that. Well, I think if you're at the booth, you should have a pretty good idea of what you do, and a pretty good idea of at least to give me enough information. I appreciate not being an expert in it, but I would not bring somebody that was hired 2 weeks ago, that is there to try to just wow me on some factor other than what you're selling, because I'm moving quickly, moving very quickly. So I think it's boiling down, is we've seen a little bit of a change between the PG Sports and Learning Complex and this venue for the type of person that's coming out and visiting. There's, I think, less of the bucket brigade as we saw last year, and you have a chance at more decision makers, and those people are tending to look quick, make decisions, judgments, and move on very quickly. So your window of opportunity is very small. So make it count. That's the best bang for the buck that I can give you. Any questions, comments? I have no idea who is next, so I cannot introduce them.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. You guys are, it seems low energy. Good afternoon. All right, that was still awful. We'll try again at the end. Hi, I'm Rashida Ahmed. I'm with InterSolutions. We are a platinum sponsor for PMA, and this will be our 10th year exhibiting, I believe. How many people in here have presented or exhibited at a trade show before? Raise your hands. And how many at PMEXPO? Okay, so we have a lot of newcomers, which is great, and we have a lot of people that have, it's about half and half. Again, our 10th year, this will be my 10th time exhibiting, and I still took a boatload of notes. There are always things that you can learn from the training session, and just, from your experience from the year before. So I have a couple of pointers to share with you about things that we always use as our guiding light for the trade show, and a few things that we've learned along the way. The main thing is to be present and to be engaged. Be approachable. That is huge. Like Tom said, don't have a barrier out in front of your booth. Don't have a table that prevents someone from coming in and really focusing and talking to you. There's a lot of booths, there's a lot of people walking around, so you don't want to speak to people in the aisle. You want to bring them into your booth and discuss your products and services there. Be presentable. A uniform is great. A company logo shirt is great, or just look nice. You're a lot more approachable, and people want to talk to you if they feel like they can approach you and you do look presentable. Have the effective coverage necessary for your booth. You will be multitasking. Not only will you see your prospects, but you'll also have probably some current clients there, or maybe people that are just wandering around and are interested in whatever your theme is, or if you have a giveaway. So you will have to talk to people, multiple people at the same time. If you have multiple people there, maybe if you have one person in the booth, everyone's focused on this one client and answering questions, but you can kind of gauge someone walking up and one person needs to break away and pull them in. That is something that's very important as well. Don't wait for people to walk into your booth. We've gotten a lot of clients from just stepping out there and talking to people. Hey, how you doing? How's your day going? You get them engaged, and then they kind of want to talk to you, and you have an audience at that point. Make a schedule for your booth representatives. So lunch, make sure that everyone knows when they're supposed to go to lunch, make sure that people know when they're supposed to take breaks. It gets really crazy and really busy, especially when seminars let out, or there's just those peak times of the day where you have a lot of people that are on the trade show floor. So you don't want to wait until 2, 3 o'clock and realize, oh my goodness, no one's eaten, people's feet hurt, and now you have upset booth representatives for the last couple of hours of the show. Probably not the best. Keep your theme and your message focused. Again, like Tom said, people might remember the Redskins player, but not your product. And you have 30 seconds to get and keep someone's attention. It's probably less than that at the expo. Again, when people are walking by, if they're not necessarily looking for you, it is always a good idea to pull people in and try to engage them. And you might have 10, 15, 20 seconds to engage them in conversation, but you might catch them and they in turn think, oh, you know what? I do want to hear about your product. I do need a similar service, or I do need a card on hand just in case this comes up. So there you have a prospect unexpectedly. Have your closing definition. Not everyone makes decisions. So a closing definition for a maintenance technician could be, I want to make sure that this person can get us in front of their maintenance supervisor or get us in front of someone that makes the decisions for them. So that would be a closing definition for that type of attendee, because there are all types of attendees. You have property managers, maintenance techs, maintenance supervisors, you have the corporate office executives as well, and sometimes maybe they are not, the executives are not the ones that make the end-all be-all decision. They leave it in the hands of their site managers and properties, so you might want to engage them so that they'll pass the information along. The point is, you need to make sure that you know the companies that you're going for. You need to know what your end goals are when you are talking to them and how you're going to get that message across. The next to last thing, don't break down early. No one likes a quitter. Everyone knows that. But definitely don't break down early. I mean, honor the aesthetics of the show, honor the integrity of the show. Last year in 2014, we literally got our largest lead and our second to largest client for the year in the last 10 minutes of the Property Management Expo show. So that is a fact. We will definitely make sure that we stay until the end, just from that one experience. But people do break down and they leave early, and you could leave that opportunity out in the wind. So again,
And then you'll have me come and talk to you.
yeah, and then Jamie is the police, and Jamie will police you and make sure that you... Right. The last thing that I have is look into the lead generating machine that PMEXPO offered last year for the first time. It served us very well. You have a focused list of everyone that stopped by your booth. Sometimes it's crazy in the day and you don't remember, like, oh, what was the name of that person? And you think, oh, you know what? I have 150 names on here, process of elimination. We were able to determine, oh yeah, that's exactly who that was, and that's their name. That's the spelling of their name, their title, and their contact information. So again, even though it costs money, it is an excellent tool. We will definitely use it moving forward for all the other shows that we exhibit with. So, any questions? Yes.
May I make a request, speaking of shutdown time, can we request that you do not announce, because a lot of trade shows, they do this, they announce every 30 seconds, starting a half hour before it's shutdown time, that the show is closing. And, you know, 1 or 2 times, yeah, we get it.
I'll make sure that I run that by Jamie. Yeah, I don't remember them making that many announcements.
What we will announce is that at the end, we will do prizes. So we will need to announce that for anybody who's stayed to do passport prizes or to be in the raffle, we'll announce that. We certainly do not announce that the show is closing. Because we want everyone to stay. And a lot of people, like ourselves, Shiva, myself, and all that, and the companies that go in together, we have happy hours going on afterward. There's things, now you're down in DC, so we don't want the show to like we need the show, we need people to stay. We don't want to tell them it's ending so they can be like, oh, we'll get out of here. Because we're sponsoring happy hours and things like that afterwards, so we won't be doing that.
Great.
It'll be good. It'll be good. It's not Walmart, we're not gonna be like, 5 minutes.
When does the exposition booklet that explains everything come out? When is that going to be issued?
The expo booklet that explains,
Yeah, like how to send materials to this place, can you bring things through the front door?
that would be in the general, I think that's in the general forms for registration, correct? So the packets, but that should, like the packet that explains how to do everything, how to send it here, how to, yeah, they'll send that to everyone. It's usually in an email format and has, all the listings.
Yeah, yesterday I sent out an email blast to every registered exhibitor. In that email, there is the exhibitor kit from PMA. There was the Shepherd Expositions kit that talks about freight and how to order furniture. And there was also the American Trade Show kit with all the information about badge scanners and the contact people for all those questions.
This event is not on this event
Well, he's getting out in a minute.
All right, and now I'm going to, any other questions? Okay, great. I'm going to bring up Felicia Douglas with Residency Bureau, and she is going to talk about some other pointers from an exhibitor standpoint.
Hi, I'm Felicia Douglas with Residency Bureau. I'm their marketing director. Residency Bureau has been in the business with property management for over 25 years. We've been exhibiting at the Expo for over 20 years. I personally have been running our Expo booth for 7 years now, with the exception of when I was 15 through junior high and high school and got dragged to the Expo begrudgingly because when your dad is the owner, he makes you go. So with the exception of that, it's a great Expo, not what you want to go to when you're 15 though. Just some basic do's and don'ts. I'll just go over those. A lot of that is going to be what people already said, but then also our own personal benefits that we've gotten from the Expo. Basically, don't eat and drink in the booth, but make sure that you're planning out beforehand when your staff is going to eat. Because when you're talking to clients and you're in the moment, nobody's going to leave. And like she was saying, it's going to get to the end of the day and everyone's going to be starving. And the other people will notice if you're fatigued. It's going to be obvious. It's a long day. Also, I would advise that you not bring chairs at all. My staff probably does not appreciate that. But we used to have chairs in our booth for if a client wanted to sit down, but our employees always ended up sitting in the chair. Or one year we had a fellow vendor who had maybe too much to drink that decided they needed to sit in our booth in that chair. So just don't bring chairs. There are areas to sit down where there's eating that you guys can rest your feet there. Also, again, send trained staff. Make sure that they are knowledgeable. You're going to have a lot of decision makers there. They want to talk to people that know what they're talking about. And just go over basics with the people that are going to be running the booth. Don't stand there and cross your arms or put your hands in your pocket. Obviously, don't be on your cell phone. Those kind of things. Just basics. Just review it. They can't say you didn't tell them. And make kind of like a game plan of how you're going to run your booth. What we do in our office is we mark off tape on the floor of the size of our booth, and I make them practice where they're standing. And hypothetically, if this person goes and talks to this client, where are you then going to move to cover the booth? Especially if you have interactive aspects in your booth, which I suggest that you should. You're going to need more staff for that because you're going to need somebody that's still running the interactive part of it and have somebody available to be speaking to a client. So make sure that you have the appropriate amount of staff for what you're specifically doing in your booth. Also, again, don't discredit people that you think may not be decision makers. We had a very large account that we got, and he was walking around, and we do legal work. So maintenance and different things like that, they're not
our selling point per se, but one, they do go back and talk to their other staff, and if you're rude to them or you act like you're discrediting them or not as important, they will relay that. But also, we had one of our main accounts, he was walking around in a maintenance staff shirt. No name tag, he took it off, and he was the VP of a company. So it does matter how you treat people. Obviously, no, I'm not assuming you guys will be rude, but treat everybody just as important. They do take note of that. Also, let's see, when you are setting up your booth, take a step back after you set it up and pay attention to the visual draw. If you have room in your office to set it up beforehand so you can check times and layout and stuff like that, I would advise you do that. But just like anything with a magazine or a newspaper, how you're looking at where your eye naturally flows, you want to do that with your booth. So where you want to put focus on one of your signs and it's not, put a light on it or angle it differently or move things around so that it is keeping the focus that you want. Again, for keeping things interactive, especially with the sponsorships. We were one of the Passport to Prizes. The only caveat I can say to Passport to Prizes is if you're just letting them come and you're stamping it and they're walking away, that's not going to help you at all. You have to do something to change them over into your booth. So we had like a place you would stamp and then we would invite them over to do something where we were giving away prizes, basically. But again, you have to have enough people to staff that. And there are some people that are just going to want the stamp and get out of there. But we had more leads last year than we have ever had. And we've been doing this a long time. Like I said, we had a constant line of people the entire time our booth was there, even till the very end, especially with when they were letting out Susie Orman, or they were letting the crowd out of there, the flow of people coming back from there was fantastic. Also, again, with staffing your booth, I do have to mention, booth babes are not necessarily the way to go. 75% of the property management industry is female, so that may not be as effective as you think it will be. Also, do not go ask or assume that somebody is a booth babe. We have younger women on our staff that haven't been asked that before. You will not get the desired result. I can say that much. But just kind of think about the market you're going for, basically. Our benefits, obviously, we have got great quality leads, but also it's a good time to catch up with your current clients. I know something we do is we get a little gift or something special for our current clients that we'll hand out to them to show that we know who they are, that we remember them, and it's important that we do business with them. Let's see. I guess just basically making that initial impression is important, taking advantage of the sponsorships. I mean, we've done the bar sponsorship, we've done the Passport to Prizes, we did the seminar sponsorship. That one's really great too. You're in the room with all the people doing the seminar, you have a table there. But PMA wants you to be successful. They give you free marketing. There's not many other places you're going to find free marketing where they're going to send e-blasts and everything like that. So definitely take advantage of that. I think that's about it. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Yes, no? And okay. Janice from Millennium Marketing, she's up next.
Can you all hear me? Come on and get up there. I'm Janice Tippett. I'm the owner of Millennium Marketing Solutions. Many of you know Deborah May. She's very involved and she's on the PMEXPO committee. She had a ski, so she asked me to stand in and give me a lecture, make sure I can do my job well. This is Melanie Wood. Melanie's been with me for 14, 15 years. 15, my gosh. So we've been part of PMEXPO for about 10 years as well. And I'm not going to reiterate what everybody has said, but I can tell you it is a show that has made a difference in my business. Like very much many of the other members up here, I have made great contacts and I've sold some really good accounts through it. So I encourage you to participate well. You get one opportunity to make an impression at the show. So we're here to help you with that 14%. I think it's a little bit more than Tom's slide of 14%. But that percent of the visual graphics, they cover how you should act in your booth, doing pre-show mailers, I think is important. During show, how do you look, and then after show follow-up. So we're a marketing agency. we do a lot of this ourselves, and we work with a lot of associate members, as well as we work a lot with the same clients. We help a lot of the communities mark themselves. But today, because we're running a little bit late, I don't want to take up too much time. But I do want to highlight, like you said, pre-show mailing is very important. You have that target, send in an invitation, give them a reason to stop by, tell them again what the why and why you're different. During the show, apparel. Melody's wearing an apparel shirt, I'm wearing an apparel shirt. And these items, whether it's apparel, promotional items, or trade shows, they're not that expensive. They don't have to be, they can be. But we have something, like any promo company or a printing company or a trade show company, has a good, better, best. I talked to one company, they do one show a year. Well, we're not going to suggest that you get a booth that's going to be good for 20 shows. That's just a waste of money. If you do 1 or 2 shows a year, then a good booth versus a better or best is going to be sufficient for you. But during the show, a drawing and contest, those are great to get people by. I think this $10,000 drawing is a fantastic opportunity. But you can do more fun, interactive booths as well, whether we've had wheels, we've had putting contests. One year we did carnivals. We did the little pong balls into a little glass apothecary jar, and we had a little stuffed fish. And so be interactive. It helps break the ice because you do have a variety of people walking through the show. And like they said, you never know who's walking by your booth. And you got to engage with each of them because they are either the decision maker or a very important influencer. After show follow-up, Tom is right. 80% are never followed up. Whether it's a phone call, whether it's mailing them something, whether it's stopping by. It's usually a combination of some 28 touches, 18 touches. Depending on the marketing expert you talk to, they have a different variety. One thing I know for sure, it's more than one follow-up touch that you need to make to close that deal. Promotional items. When you're looking to buy promotional items, if you go with the cheapest pin, and they go back and they use that pin and the top pops off, that's the impression you just gave them of your company. So don't always go the cheapest. It's an impression. Also, how many times do we hear, I want something useful. I want it to be on their desk. I want them to be able to use it. We all want that desk space. But why not create something that has a memory, an emotion point? Oh, remember they gave me that cool little item and it made us smile. Remember that? That was the company that did that roofing. Let's call them. So don't look just for useful. Look for things that create an emotional point as well. That will get ingrained and they will remember you for that. Print is a wonderful thing. Don't send them with big booklets or catalogs, but do send them something. Business card, note card, a simple sales sheet, something. Again, with printing, digital printing these days, you can print, they said 1,100 people came to the show, you can only print 1,100. You print 400. Not 1,100 are going to be interested, so print 300. You can still print, but print just what you need. You can customize it for the show. For instance, right here, we're having an open house. Hopefully you all saw one of these on your chairs, where we're talking about trade shows. We're having a Valentine's event on February 10th. But we customized the front about property management industry. So we printed 75 of these for today. So that's a beautiful thing. You don't have to print thousands like you used to in the past to get a quality piece. Hardware and graphics. I just want to show you, many of you have exhibited before, but I do think there's some new people. And actually, we just had another member who's exhibited at this particular trade show, another trade show, and sent us their booth. I'm not going to say, but they sent us their booth because they need to upgrade their graphics. We took a look at it, and it was the old panel system. We had to schlep it into our shop, kind of remember how to put it up, and it was the old Velcro. Let's put a picture here, and let's Velcro here, and let's Velcro there. Very heavy, very expensive. It doesn't really have a high impact. When I was part of helping them decide to move the show here, one reason we did it, right, was to elevate the show. Like Jamie said, I think it was you, Jamie, was to be able to exhibit and participate in a show like this without having to travel and to get the quality of people through here is just an amazing opportunity. Make the most of it. These types of graphics and hardware, they're so light. There's no reason to break down early to beat the rush. Because come 4 o'clock, right? 4 o'clock, this is how you can break down. Time to go home. Let's go home. Okay? Time to set it up. Come a little early because a lot of networking happens early. You're ready to go. You're in your heels, you're in your suit. These are very, very effective. These go taller, these go wider. You can get lights on these, you can get shelves on these. Very flexible, very affordable. If you have not updated your booth in the last year, 2 years, you need to look at this. Banner stands. Again, great with banner stands. Most of you have seen these before, you have not. Lean down, pop it off. There you go. It's in bungee form. Goes in your canvas bag. You're on the metro. It is amazing, this new technology. So, any questions so far?
You guys will be here, right?
Yes, we'll be here. We brought a couple new promotional items, a couple new things. The big thing when you do pick is pick something, like I said, think about how it's going to represent your business. So we will be here Melody and I, because I know we've got a couple more people to cover, and we'll hang out here as long as we need to. So thank you.
We have a guy from Shepherd here. This is where we got most of our questions and comments last year, was where they're moving move out. Being here at the convention center, it does work a little differently. He's going to go through a couple of things. You definitely want to pay attention to this, because the convention center is a little bit different. They're lenient, but they're not. So if you mess it up, and that's going to be on you on the day of the show or the day of the setup. So he's going to go through some stuff for you real quick. But make sure you have any other questions that you have, make sure you address them now. We will not have them again.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dan Goodwin, and as Jamie said, I'm with Shepherd Exposition Services. This will be our first year with PMA, and we're very excited. We have worked out a deal with PMA. And for those of you who do not know what we do, we are a general service contractor. What that means is we provide carpet, booth drape, we provide union labor, and run the docks, basically, for PMEXPO. That being said, we've worked out an agreement this year with PMEXPO. I know that most people are local and will be driving their stuff in, where PMEXPO is now paying to have your stuff unloaded. So there will be no drayage fees for anybody coming in a company-owned vehicle that is smaller than a straight truck. For those of you who do not know what a straight truck is, that's the big box trucks with more than 4 axles. If you bring in a pickup truck, a Sprinter van, a trailer, we will have Teamsters on the dock that will help you unload. If you want to bring in your own push carts and stuff, you're more than welcome to do that. Again, this is a complimentary service for both the inbound and the outbound. As far as what comes in your booth, that's you're going to have carpeting in there, and you'll have pipe and drape and an ID sign. It's just a standard black and white card stock ID sign. Anything above and beyond that, you can order through our service kit, which was sent out yesterday via GIA. I also have furniture forms that I've brought with me with some show information, how to log on to our online system. It's just basically a condensed printed version of what was sent out yesterday. Let's see. Yes, sir.
Can you bring your own folding table?
You absolutely can bring your own folding table. And if you do, you can carry it in, and that's absolutely fine. As far as power tools go, if you are using a screw gun to unscrew a crate or something of the such, technically you're not supposed to. We kind of look past it. If you are building a roof in your booth, then you will be stopped and asked to have union labor do that. But something that's going to take 5 or 10 minutes using a screw gun is fine. Basically, that's I'm just trying to keep it short and sweet. I'm open for questions.
Are we setting up the meeting for?
Yes, setup will be on Tuesday, April 14th. And I believe Gia sent out a specific schedule for exhibits of when you'll be coming in.
Is there parking around here?
The way it comes in, you're going to come in if you're going to be unloading using the dock space. You're going to come in on M Street. We're going to check you in down on M Street. You're going to have a Shepherd person in a Shepherd shirt check you in, send you up, be unloaded, and then once you're unloaded, you cannot leave your vehicle there on the dock. You have to do it. The local parking, there's some right across the street on the Renaissance. There's some in the Renaissance. There's various parking garages around. There's no parking actually at the convention center. Yes, sir.
The electric and the Wi-Fi and stuff that if we ordered it, will that be sitting there waiting for us when we get there?
That is correct. And we'll also have the electrical will have a desk set up on site as well. So if you want to order it on site.
And it is through the facility?
Yes, that is through Washington Convention Center.
Tables and chairs as well, guys. So you need to order that if you need, I know a lot of
No
other
tables?
expos do that. So if you need table, it will not be in your booth unless you've already pre-ordered it. So it doesn't come with the table and chairs, so you need to make sure that you get with PMA staff, with Gia. If you need the electrical, if you need tables and chairs. I know a lot of other trade shows, it's just depends on what the negotiations are. So if you're expecting to get there and have a table and chair in there, it's not going to be there unless you sign up for it. So just keep that in mind as well.
Yes, sir.
Just to clarify, do we get a 10-amp electrical plug automatically?
No, I was just told no. So you will need to order that.
Okay.
All goods come with pipe and drape, carpeting, and signage, and that's it. Everything else is on you guys. So any furniture, and any electrical, if you need Wi-Fi, all that stuff, you have to purchase through the staff and take care of.
But if we want to bring any of those things ourselves, we can bring those in.
You can bring in stuff yourself, and obviously we're taking care of all the move-in and move-out fees for that, so that's certainly probably a strong option for you guys.
Any other questions? Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Look forward to working with you all and making this a great success. Thank you.
We're wrapping it up. We're wrapping it up, kids. We're wrapping it up. Gia's got some stuff. One thing I did want to reiterate, which I know it wasn't brought up, there's alcohol at this event, which we love. That helps us get through the day. If you're in property management, we all love vodka. Here's the thing. It's a full service. There's full service bars. I know they mentioned the bars. Just watch what your staff and how much consumption is going on. Also watch what you're giving to your customers to consume. They will ask you for drinks and things like that. So I know that really wasn't brought up a lot, but we've had a few incidences in the past where people think it's a free-for-all, and you never want to embarrass yourself, your company, or your clients. So don't ever put yourself in a position to do that. Have a good time, have fun. The whole thing's supposed to be fun, but just remember they are full-service bars, not just beer and wine. So people tend to, and they open at 11, which we like that too. But you know, when you start taking gin and vodka at 11, your customer might not be as pleasant by 3 o'clock. So, and you certainly don't want to carry anyone out. So just watch your staff, watch that, and watch the alcohol consumption while you guys are there, okay? That's my only advice.
Yeah, we just want to remind everybody, last year it was spring break at the time of Expo, so just as an FYI, we do not allow anyone 21 years of age or younger on the showroom floor. So just as an FYI to you and your customers, anyone under 21 is not allowed on the showroom floor at all.
Okay, and we're going to go on the tour immediately following this. I promise it's almost over. But I wanted just all of you to see my face and who I am. I am going to be your best friend in this process up until Expo. If you have any questions regarding anything, the scanners, I can point you in the right direction for American Trade Show Services. The Shepherd guys are obviously very well equipped to handle all of those questions and orders. Just a few things. I sent out the exhibitor kit yesterday. There were 3 parts in that exhibitor kit. The Shepherd kit, which is electronic, the PMEXPO on our end kit that has a ton of information in it about sponsorships, things you need to accomplish. All of those things on my end, on the PMA end, are due February 27th. Anyone who enters the show floor as an exhibitor must have a badge. So if you think that you are going to have 15 people in your booth over the course of the day, broken down in shifts, I need you to deliver every single person's name to me so that we can make a badge for them. Because if they don't have one, they can't enter the booth. And
There's paperwork here too, right?
yeah,
They didn't get.
there is some paperwork here. And if you did not receive yesterday's kit in the email blast, please email me. My business card is out front on the table. And I will make sure everything goes smoothly. Also, Apartment Showcase just took the sponsorship for the cups today. So if you want to grab a sponsorship today before anybody else can get back to their computer at the office, come see me and we'll get it all set up. Okay?
Guys, we really appreciate you coming out today. Passports and prizes, there's only 32 of them, only 32 out of 290 some booths. There's only 6 left. So today would be the day to take advantage of that. Thank you guys, thank you for coming out. Hopefully you learned a lot. Stay around for the tour if you've not ever been here. Then you want to tour this facility so you're not spending an hour walking around it.